Great Scott!
Great Scott!
Great Scott!
Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Great Scott. I'm Scotty V, and thanks for watching. So there's two things, well, there's probably more, but there's at least two things that really get my goat. And I gotta tell you what they are, and you know, this may not be the most opportune time or place for some people, but you know, I have the power, so I'm going to do it anyway. Uh, uh, People will often tell me what I like. I'll say, you know, I love it when they keep releasing these superhero movies because I love all superheroes. I want to see a superhero movie every week. I want to see 3-hour superhero movies. I want to see 3-day-long marathons of superhero movies. When they're an hour and a half, they're not long enough. When they're 2 hours, they're not long enough. 2.5 hours, not long enough. I like epics. The length of Avengers was pretty good. I could have taken more because I wasn't at any moment bored or hoping it would end. I thought it was fantastic, and I enjoyed every moment of it. I liked Superman Returns. In fact, I think it was the best of the Superman movies. Why? Because it wasn't as cheesy. There was still an element of cheese, and Spacey still put on an element of Gene Hackman cheese, Lex Luthor, but he was the most serious we've seen Lex Luthor on the big screen. Now, when I talk to people, they'll tell me, they're doing Zod again in the new MOS. You really want to see Luthor again in a sequel to, you know, or you really, like, because I'll say, well, hopefully, I hope that there's a Luthor. We just haven't heard about it, and, you know, he's in the background, and, you know, he becomes a major player later. And then people will say, haven't we seen enough of this Luthor? Some goofy guy who wears a wig who can get the best, you know. But that's not who he is. That's just who the American public, the general movie-going audience, thinks he is. Luthor is a genius. Luthor is a man that believes that Superman makes us weak. Just his mere presence being here makes us less as a life form. And he always believed he was the best that the planet had to offer. And when Superman arrived, he felt that he was being upstaged all the time, which he was, so he wasn't that far off. But then he got crazy, and he was always megalomaniacal and egomaniacal, and he's just very, you know, he wants things to be his way, and he believes that his way is best for the human race, and he believes he's going to be the savior. I think done right, we could see a great Lex Luthor on screen, and he shouldn't be the guy that's walking into banks with a wig on his head, trying to rob things. He has people who does that stuff for him, and then he kills them off when they get in his way. That's just the kind of ruthless, billionaire, ego-driven, super smart, also scientist at times, a person that he is. But what I really wanted to get into is Kryptonite. What you see here in my hand are reasonable replicas of what Kryptonite looks like. Now, if I were to hold these out and dangle them all around and say, oh, I'm going to kill Superman. If you were Superman, you wouldn't just fly right over and go, oh, you're going to kill me with those? Okay. You'd use your eye beams and blast me from a distance. You know, you'd throw a rock on me that would crush me and kill me. Now, we know Superman doesn't kill, but he doesn't have to get close. And he's super fast. He can just knock you off your feet, fly by. He needs to be in proximity of it. If he flew by at super speed, knocked you down, caused you to drop the kryptonite, or heat visioned the kryptonite out of your hands, you wouldn't be able to use it on him. And this is a convention they use almost all the time in comics. You know, for some reason, these creators, and I guess fans like it because he's not that popular anymore. I'm allergic to kryptonite. And so is Superman. It doesn't kill him instantly. It doesn't take away his powers instantly. It weakens him, and over time will eventually kill him. It depends on the story, but it's very inconsistent. I have seen times where he's lifted a giant island into space that was made at least 30% of kryptonite, and he could do it. Why? Because he was driven by willpower and the need to do it, and that's the kind of guy Superman is. But I've also seen times where someone pulls out kryptonite, he crumples to his knees and can't move. Most people would say neither representation is particularly accurate of what kryptonite should do to Superman. I would say he could pull off that island thing because he knew it needed to be done, and Superman is also driven by will. But if kryptonite being pulled out immediately strips him of all his powers and knocks him to his knees, then he wouldn't be able to do anything, and anybody could kill him with kryptonite. Second, kryptonite shouldn't be readily available to just anybody all the time. Now, I realize Batman has collected different plans for each member of the Justice League in case of a contingency where he would need to take every one of them down, which is completely absurd to begin with. And there are people who argue with me on this point, and there are people who have told me, online of course, because they would never meet anybody face to face and tell them that they're jack-offs, or that they're idiots, or that they have no lives, or that all they talk about are comics. Now, granted, I do a segment every week where I talk about comics and Superman in particular, and I do moderate on the Superman homepage, and I do talk to my wife about Superman almost on a daily basis, and I often call my sister and say some things about Superman that I either like or don't like. But this is neither here nor there. It's not my entire life. I do a lot of other things, but I will say this. Any reasonable, intelligent person, you don't have to be Superman, who knows that Kryptonite can kill him, or hurt him, or weaken him, or almost cause him to die, isn't just going to fly up and say, oh, well, you might have Kryptonite, but I don't care. He can be tricked, and I've seen some reasonable interpretations of him thinking he was going into something, Superman 3, which was a horrible, horrible, horrible movie. He was getting a present. He was getting a prize. He was being honored. He didn't want to do it, but Lana coaxed him into going. And when he got there, they laid this Kryptonite on him, and it wasn't something that he could notice right away, although it really looked like Kryptonite. But he had no reason to believe that these people were out to get him, so he went there in good faith, and he ended up screwed. Batman is very sneaky. I mean, look at him. He's sneaking up right now. This is what he does. This is the kind of person that he is. Sorry. I actually like Batman. What I don't like is what they do with him on an episode of Geek Time, which is a Ralph Cirella show. Ralph Cirella is Howard Stern's stylist. The only reason he has a show is because he's Howard Stern's stylist. But it's a pretty good show. They talk about all things geek. They had Jim Lee on. Jim Lee's on a lot, which is cool because I love comics. But Jim Lee made it evident once again that these creators and these writers like Batman more than anyone else, above and beyond anyone else. And that's great for Batman fans because in almost every book Batman's in, he betters all the other heroes. And almost any time he gets in a fight with any of the other heroes, he betters the other heroes. He's smarter than the other heroes. He says cooler things than the other heroes. He looks cooler than the other heroes. He's just all around better than the other heroes. And why? Because these creators like him better, and that's fine. And also the American public likes him better. At this point in time, Batman is the most popular DC character that there is. However, for me, and this is one of the things that gets me, that doesn't mean you can just have him do whatever he wants all the time and that it's acceptable. It's an insult to readers' intelligence. Even if you're a Batman fan, there's got to come a point where you go, come on, this is ridiculous. There was another thread that was started on the site that I'm on. How much beating can Batman take and still keep going? And I would say one day's worth. The amount of beating that he takes, falling off buildings, smashing into cars, getting beaten down. Yeah, he's wearing armor in the movie, but not in the books. A person that could smash in the ribs, that would have broken ribs, broken arms, bruises all over the place. His muscles would ache so much he wouldn't be able to move. And I realize he's Batman and he's trained beyond the point of pain, and but he's still a human being. And this is where it gets out of control. I like Batman, but he should be a detective. He should be in Gotham City. He should be working on street thugs. He shouldn't be fighting Darkseid. He shouldn't be in the alien realm. But if they put him there because he's the strategist or whatever, like Captain America and the Avengers, that's okay. But let's not have him outshine everybody all the time. The very first episode of Justice League, before it became Unlimited, Batman was the best. He somehow saved them all. They were all tied up. Invulnerable people were being made to die and were giving pain. But Batman was cool. He could just jump in and save everybody. Superman was knocked unconscious in the first scene by an explosion that Batman was also in, but Batman just rolled up to his feet, picked up Superman, carried him away so Superman wouldn't be killed by the fire. You know, he's invulnerable, so fire wouldn't kill him anyway, and the explosion shouldn't hurt him. But because they wanted to have Batman be the best, that's what they do. Jim Lee said it straight out. But Batman always beats the crap out of Superman, and that's what I like. And somebody on Geek Time said, no, that's just bull. And it is. But they do it. And the other convention is all these people have Kryptonite. Someone argued that, come on now, anytime he fights Metallo, he's face to face with him, and he knows he's got a chest made of Kryptonite. So clearly, let's stop the silliness. Superman's dumb. Okay, well, if that's the case, then he's a complete dolt. He's a complete moron, and anybody could lay Kryptonite on him at any time. But that's just unreasonable because we've seen him in many other circumstances where he is not a moron. You, anybody, my daughter, who knew something was going to hurt her, would stay away from it. She's 5 years old. You know, she would stay. If she saw something that was coming that was going to kill her, she would try to get as far away from it as she could. You know, she's 5. She's a small girl, so it would probably get her. But Superman can fly. He's got distance attacks. He can lift anything. He's super fast. So there should be no reason why, you know, barring something strange. And an occasional story, that's okay. But anybody? All the time? it's just unreasonable. And someone mentioned to me that I was, a coward, and I wouldn't call them out. What I was trying to do was save face. I didn't want to call them out because I was trying to end the subject. But Pete, you said it yourself. You're a jerk. You think you know everything you don't. And you're a Batman fan, which is fine. I like Batman. I like Wonder Woman. I like Superman. I like Thor. I like the Green Lantern. I like Hulk. I like everybody. Superman's my favorite. But I don't like unreasonable plot lines. And they want me to end this subject, so I'm going to end it by saying this. You guys are wrong, and I'm right. Everybody, thanks for watching. Besides, how could he beat Superman? Look how small he is compared to this guy. This has been another edition of Great Scott. Remember, always look up in the sky.